All right, you're joined. Okay, there we go.
Hi, Megan.
Hey,
Happy new moon in Cancer.
happy new moon.
And thank you so much for doing this. I'm also live on Facebook. I think it's working. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna look at what screen here.
Yeah, I know. I have two screens as well. We're definitely in the age of Aquarius, just navigating technology and communication.
And I also just had to turn down the volume over here as well. Okay, learning.
Right.
All right, here we go.
Me too.
Oh, okay, so awesome. Okay, there we go. Yay, awesome.
Oh, there was an echo. Is it good now?
Yeah, I'm like, is it coming from my end?
Is there an echo? I can't hear an echo.
Oh, that's interesting. I have the volume down, but I hear. Maybe I'll just turn off my hearing aid. There we go.
Awesome.
Here through the side. There we go. Perfect.
Okay, so how are we feeling with this new moon in Cancer, in the sign of the moon, because the Cancer is ruled by the moon, and so there's like this big surge of emotional, watery energy. So how are you feeling with that?
Emotional. I'm feeling, getting in touch with my feelings, which is good, healthy, had some tears come through yesterday, today, so it's good,
Yeah, I feel that too, and I found that astrology can be so helpful because I had actually a few of these moments leading up to the new moon, and at first I didn't click straight away that it was new moon Cancer, and then I had like an even deeper surge of kind of really dark depression and emotions, and also crying in the middle of the night and not being able to sleep. And then I remembered again, and it's almost this remembering was like coming out of this hole in itself, because I could put all these emotion into context and remember that I'm such a sensitive, intuitive being that is navigating these collective energies, and not only with the planets, but also with how the whole collective, the whole world is experiencing these energies. And I think a lot of people are empath and more really attuned to each other in these ways. So thank you for sharing that you're also going through that. I think it's also helpful every time I do Women's Circle to hear that I'm not the only one.
Yep. As soon as you just start like communicating with those around you and you're like, oh, wait a second, let's check what's going on in the astrals. And then you check and you're like, oh, all makes sense now. We're just so connected,
Definitely.
Collective journey.
Yeah, and so the interesting thing for me, and I'd love to hear for you too, is that there was some deep depression, as I mentioned, like some of the lowest place I've been, some of the lowest thoughts, kind of self-sabotaging thoughts, and there was also a lot of anger, actually, towards patriarchy for what's happening in the US. And what's happening in my personal life as well, some patriarchal attempt to dominate women in my life, and I just brought out my Kali, my warrior, my mama bear protector. So it wasn't just emotions in terms of tears, like it can also be anger, or in my case also kind of like not being able to sleep, like what is that, hyperactivity, or what about you?
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, because also it's like emotion is not only like, oh, this tears, water, passing through. It's like sacred rage, right? Like there's such a what's it called? Yeah, there's more than sadness to feel. We think of emotion sometimes and we relate it to, oh, tears. The sacred rage, that's right. Yes, that was definitely coming through. And that's what's happening in the US. I was like, okay, I've heard a little bit about Roe versus Wade kind of like popping up on Instagram. I didn't really like check it out, and then I was like, whoa, I was just feeling so many waves. I'm here in Canada, Toronto, I feel like when there's stuff going on in the US, I can just like feel it come through, so
it's strong. I think it's affecting the whole whole
Yeah.
collective.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
And also for me, this rage kind of relates to the Cancer, because I've been researching the Cancer. I know you're also a big astrology amateur. I don't know how to, it's like you're not yet an astrologer, but
Yeah.
you're kind of like someone who's passionate about astrology, just like me. So we do our own research, and it helps us to connect the dots about other archetypes. And so I was researching about the Cancer, who I know from you too. You always mention how the Cancer is it's a nurturing sign, and then I saw how it was related to the Mother Archetype. Apparently, there's this trinity actually in astrology where the Pisces is the maiden, the Cancer is the mother, and the Scorpio is the throne. Yeah,
That makes
so
sense.
it kind of makes sense, yeah. And this whole idea of death and rebirth, and I guess that's the water trinity. I'm not sure if there's a trinity in each sign. And so with the Cancer, not only it lives on water, but it has also this ability to come on land and to pinch things. It has this shell, like it's a bit of a warrior archetype with that. And the mother is often connected to the warrior as well. So yeah, there's this protective aspect, especially in relation to being nurturing. It's about protecting what we love and what we hold dear. And the Cancers in general in astrology are very close to the family. Like family value is like number one for them. And we're definitely seeing that with the protests happening. There's a huge attempt to defend women's reproductive rights and freedom around that, and what we hold dear and what we value. And yeah, it's a big thing. I'd love to hear how you see this whole issue.
Well, yeah, I mean, you mentioned it, like, yeah, just talking about like women's reproductive rights. It's like, and you're talking about like themes of the mother. Yeah, I mean, it makes me think of just like Mother Earth herself, right? So I feel like it's just an extension of like, what's it called? Distorted patriarchy taking hold of like not only the body, like that we all live on, the body of Mother Earth, but also now it's like extending into the human body of the woman, right? So I just see a correlation between those both.
That's so
right?
true.
So it's like it all gets connected, and it's like, oh, there's all this sacred rage just coming through,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I was researching, actually, I found this amazing YouTube video. I'm going to mention who it's from quickly. I spent the whole day watching this video and taking notes and just pausing it to take it in a lot. Oh, I have so many things in here. I want to mention his page because it was such a good video, and the information, the source of the information. Raza Lila Healing made a video about how this new moon is very much about what you were just talking, this dynamic between patriarchy and, in a way, matriarchy, and the way that it's this new moon is in I think it's conjuncture. I wrote it all down. I'm not an astrologer. I can't get the details, but it's very closely connected to Black Moon Lilith and Lilith, the asteroid Lilith. And so this Lilith archetype is coming up, and she represents this patriarchal struggle, because the myth of Lilith, as we find it in the Abrahamic religion, is that of the primary wife of Adam before Eve.
Yeah.
A woman that is a goddess, this mythical creature, this archetype that is very empowered in her femininity, in her feminine powers, and her wisdom, and her sexuality. And for that reason, she is cast out of the Garden of Eden and becomes the devil, marries Satan, and is completely demonized. And so Raza Lila healing was explaining how it's this journey of descent from the most holy in the Garden of Eden all the way to hell to become the devil itself. So similar to the Luciferian archetype. So he was saying that it's an opportunity. This new moon is a big opportunity for us to reflect on these patterns of patriarchy and how we've fallen from honoring the divine feminine, which was an era of more harmony and more peace, as it has been discovered by a lot of archaeologists. And now we have a big patriarchal system that we are still very much in, and that we're still very much fighting. Some people think that women still have a lot, are seen as equal, but I think that in many ways we can see how not only women but the feminine is devalued in our culture, and that's very much harming all of us. Just like you were saying, this relationship with Mother Earth, the disconnection there from the feminine, from matter, from the body, is harming all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think before there was times where I thought I was just like, oh man, it's really harming like the feminine, like us women. And after I'm like, no, like it's really harming our brothers as well. Like it's true. Like it really does, like it hurts everyone. Yeah.
And so we're here in this struggle, and tonight we wanted to connect to Lilith. I'm curious to know what she represents for you.
What she represents for me. Yeah, like I feel like I've learned about Lilith a bit from you before, like just attending your women's circles, or even just now again. I also had a chance to listen to a little bit of that video that you sent me as well, the one that you mentioned. So he got into talking about Lilith as well. Yeah, for sure. I feel like she really does, represent the oppressed, the repressed feminine, right? Even like I think what was coming through today is like things like movies and like TV shows, they've really like impacted me along my journey. And like I like watching about like fantasy and all these type of things. So I find that Lilith ends up being like a theme or like a character in a lot of these shows or movies. And before it'd be like, oh wow, okay, yeah, she's like the devil or demon, and like they show her with like red hair and like, oh, okay, I don't know, and then coming from a Catholic background, right? Also it's like what you learn about like the origin story, it's like, oh, Adam and Eve, and then after I'm just like, wait, sorry, Adam and Lilith it was first? Say what? Sorry. And it was all about because they kicked her out because she refused to be submissive, right? It was something like that. She refused to be submissive. She refused to say that her body was like a sin, right? Like I think that's what the apple kind of represented. It's like this, or I get a little lost in the story. Like I still want to learn more about her, but yeah, I just really feel like, yeah, she's definitely a misunderstood misunderstood archetype, right? Like even like even in the photo that we chose, it's like, okay, she's got these dark beady eyes, and like even there was still a part of my consciousness and just being like, oh, but like isn't she a demon though? Like wait, what? Wait, like dark feminine, wait, what? But and it almost gets me wondering, like, would we see her transform in the minds or in our consciousness as a collective, as the more we understand her? Like, would we start to see her image transform in our minds, and also like have that be reflected, within within more conversation, or like even within like the media, whether it's like movies or just like, yeah, different ways and stories, yeah.
Yes, definitely. And it's happening now, actually. One great example of a movie that shows that is that one with Angelina Jolie, where she's a dragon. Which one is that?
Oh, yes, that's oh my goodness. Maleficent.
Maleficent. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really this archetypal journey. The whole thing is this journey of this descent of the mother, and yeah, even to losing her wings, which are kind of her angel wings, and then reclaiming her role in the whole spectrum of our potential. And that's what Raza Lila Healing was explaining in his video, that basically we're looking at a part of our consciousness that we all have. We all have all archetypes, and so we all have this Lilith inside of us that has been wounded by patriarchy, which is probably the deepest wound that we all carry, because it's a cut off from a whole side of us, which is the feminine.
Yeah.
And so we have this deep wound, and like you're saying, when we're able to look at it, first of all, it's starting this transformation. The looking at and trying to understand is our consciousness, it's spirit. So it's this journey of bringing the light to the darkness, and that is the alchemical journey of transformation. And so you were talking about the myth. I just want to go back to that because I love this symbology. So yes, she comes back as the serpent. So she's cast out, she becomes a demon and kind of the devil, like Mary's Satan, and then births demon babies. Like there's all these things. And who knows how much the story has been completely distorted by those patriarchal religions. And like there might be a totally different myth actually told by matriarchal cultures, ancient matriarchal cultures like ancient Sumer, that have an also equivalence of the Goddess Lilith. But she comes back as the snake. So Lilith is that serpent goddess, and sometimes she's very much depicted as a half woman, half serpent creature crawling down the tree of life and handing over the apple of knowledge to Eve for her to be initiated into knowing as the gods know. And that means to have full consciousness of her power as a being. And so this is what we're offered now with shadow work on a personal and collective level. And here I think we're more interested in seeing how that's playing out on the collective level, but we can also reflect how we have the patriarchal programming and how accepting that we are also perpetrating this programming when we're not doing shadow work, and how also we're wounded by it, and acknowledging this wound, that is the healing that we really are offered to do, to be able to transform and really reclaim all of ourselves. And that would mean to really enter our feminine, meaning that we're able to be compassionate, we become a healer, we become a teacher, we allow ourselves to be seen in all that we have to offer, and we're able to see others in all they have to offer. So that for me is really the feminine, is like inclusivity, compassion, emotional intelligence, and we stop to be so goal-oriented towards growth. That's all the masculine that has been really destroying the planet, just like you mentioned, and overlooking all the important things, such as how the way we raise children nowadays. You know, how important is that? They're going to be the ones deciding what the future holds. And here we have an attempt. Sorry, I'm just getting carried away.
Yeah. It's all good.
So going back to the Rowan weight, we have an attempt to almost destroy this harmony of the family with just letting all these babies being birthed. Like it's a bit of okay, what I think what's interesting here in this dynamic, I don't want to go too much into the political views on that, because it is quite a controversial topic, but I want to say that what we're observing very clearly with that debate is that we have, on one hand, the patriarchal religions that are saying that abortion is evil. And that is exactly the same dynamic as saying female body and sexuality and reproduction is should be controlled, should be controlled by men. And this is coming from the church mostly, which is really strong in the US. Right? So this is like still the dominant voice in the US is this conservative, religious, patriarchal voice. And on the other hand, we have women that are doing this work of reclaiming their bodies, loving themselves, reclaiming their sexuality, um, getting rid of all this shame. Like, I'm really feeling that in the voices of those women that are protesting. It's like, but these are women who are really doing this kind of more modern role of a lot of reclaiming of these archetypes, just like you were saying. Like, you know, is Lilith going to change in our eyes? Yes, she's changing. She's transforming into all these raging women. This is what we're seeing. So we have this Lilith energy on the other hand that is like, look at me, like, look at us, look at this pain, look at this mess that we're in, look at this shadow. And they're grieving and they're mourning and they're enraged. They're holding all this emotion that is a force of transformation in our collective and for ourselves.
Okay, so some things were coming up. Back to when you were asking me the question about like how I relate to Lilith or like what comes up for me. Actually, recently, so I'm going to get a little bit astrological here. So according to my placement, my Lilith, what is that called again? Yeah, I have Pisces in the house of Lilith. So like Lilith represents our unconscious and like kind of like our wounding, similar to Chiron, but Chiron's like a more of just a bit different energy. But yeah, so I just discovered that I have Pisces and Lilith, but it's in the first house, and I was recently reading about it, and it was saying when it's in this placement here, it means that like I really take on what Lilith is, like how she feels. And I was like, wow, I was reading this, I'm like, my whole life makes sense, like my upbringing, how I looked at myself being a woman, like the feminine, you know, sexuality, you know. And so yeah, just that's for me personally, like that's another like lens that kind of comes up. And yeah, because it's like when I tune into it, it's like because I feel like, you know, we're so connected to our wounding, especially like as we're growing up, right? And we get to heal, you know, as we age and all these things. As I'm doing, I'm starting to heal and all that stuff. But yeah, I could really feel like when you speak about like, oh, you know, like her eyes are black because that's the rage of all the feminine, you know. So yeah, I think, yeah, I feel like I was disconnected from my body, you know, for a lot of my life. It's like I was just like, this is me. This is like where my soul exists. You know, this is Meghan from up here to here, right? It's like, you know, the body, it's like, oh, the body's a sin, and then like the body is dirty, or like, oh, there's too much complication with the body. It's like, you know, like sexuality, all these different things, you know. So yeah, I feel like I've been relating to her, and yeah, a little bit more so now after learning that. And even fun fact, recently, clarity, I almost had this thought where, you know, I feel like I've been really in a process of like looking at my art lately and like my creation of the yonis, of the vulvas, right? And I was just like, you know what? Oh, you know, like I talked to some woman or some people and they're like, you know, not everyone's gonna buy that, you know? And then after I was like, oh, true. Like I also make other beautiful, you know, art and things like that. And I was like, oh, maybe like I'm gonna stop making it. Like I'm not gonna stop entirely, but I'm like, I'm not gonna make them as much. And then just like that, just like within a week, it was like I heard about the Roe versus Wade. I'm feeling the waves come up from the US. It's like Cancer new moon in you know, what is it, conjunct Lilith? And I'm like, okay, no, I'm not. And that's got
it's so good.
Lilith energy going on here with this piece. It took me a very long time to make this piece. I was very intimidated.
It's beautiful,
Megan. For you guys, I realize it's you can't see me here on Instagram.
So nice. You're incredible. You're an incredible artist.
See, there's some snakes here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just so I felt inspired to wear this today. And yeah. And then another thing is like also too, it's like getting back into astrology, it's like my Mars is also in Cancer, right? And Mars is like the energy of like, you know, war and like conflict and like your sacred rage, right? How that's expressed. And I have it in Cancer, right? And Cancer is all about the mother, you know, and like protecting, you know, the protecting what we love. So anyways, I feel very connected to the energies and right now, and it's all, you know, one big culmination.
Maybe that's why we come together in this lifetime. I feel like we get that journey so much. I just made a post today. Today is our 6-year anniversary of friendship on Facebook. Happy anniversary.
Anniversary.
And I said, you know, we like recognize each other and we spoke the same language. And I feel like, and we met in the context of those women's circles. So I think we both like get it, like there's such a need of these messages. Our soul just knows this journey so much, and now we're able to really put words to it. And I think it's becoming more and more clear for me anyway, as I'm studying this thing, as I'm gaining awareness and consciousness of all these patterns, and I'm able to handle it more too. I think at the time it was just, I was still in victim, and there's still a part of me that feels kind of a victim of it all. But there's more grace also with this understanding. There's more acceptance and compassion for all sides, because we're all in this together. But yeah, I wanted to echo how also I relate to all these archetypes, obviously with the work that I'm doing with women and reclaiming sexuality. I want to say reclaiming sacred sexuality, meaning that we're not just having sex, we're really healing each other, creating really a high frequency on this earth when we come together with love, and then yeah, just consciousness, and we take the time to really breathe together, to love ourselves through another. It's such a powerful symbol to also just what you were describing, you know, reclaiming the body, like reclaiming our sexuality by reclaiming our body, and this journey, this life journey through our bodies to really be embodied creature. Like, what does that mean? I feel like that's spirit coming with matter. That's really the journey of awakening that we're on right now. And this huge insect just fly by. I'm in Costa Rica. And it's so beautiful to have this. It's like a superpower, because once you have awareness of your body, we were talking about emotions before, but we can also access so much other information, such as energies and shivers, like those truth bombs, when our whole body or parts of our body get shivers when someone says the truth. And that can really guide us. Yes. And that has guided me so much in my life. And I know, and sometimes it's still very much hard, but I know I just have to listen to this, because if I don't, it's just gonna be, I don't know, it's gonna be miserable. I mean, I don't really know, because I just listen to it now. I just surrender to, basically it feels like my heart's wisdom. It makes zero sense here, but when I open to just following my intuition, I get so much blessings in my life. Really, like way more than I could have imagined with my head, you know, with my ego attachments and all this stuff. So there's a surrendering to a higher truth that I don't even know of, to that mystery that holds so much blessing. And yeah, that's why I wanted to, I guess I just want to extend an invitation to everyone who feels inspired to really start doing that more, like really listen to the heart. It's a little cliche, but it feels like this is the only way that we're going to overcome these challenges. And yeah, again, I feel this like grace, like finding grace within this challenge, so that we stop being just at war with one another, and really start listening more and having more compassion, and really expressing ourselves from a vulnerable place, not from like the ego that believes that we know everything and what about me. So I think that's the big shift. Basically, we're descending from that ego mind down to the heart, and to be more, and here at the heart, to be more connected to each other. I feel like that's for me the reclaiming of the divine feminine, and the coming together of the feminine and masculine.
Yes, the coming together of the feminine and the masculine, for sure. Yes. Oh, gee. Yeah, and like another thing that like popped into my head, it was you were saying like seeking to listen, right? And yeah, I feel like that's a big medicine, you know? Like it's like I feel like what's shifted for me, because before, I only started learning about like sacred sexuality and like, all these like all these archetypes of like the divine feminine. It was coming to your, women's circles, right? But before that, and maybe still a little bit in the beginning, because I was still during a learning process, I have my conditionings and stuff, and I still do have my conditionings, right? I feel like, I feel like this is something that a lot of women go through, where, we see a like sexually, sensually empowered woman and like expressed in this way. And it's like, for me, I would get really triggered or like feel uncomfortable, right? And okay, that's like maybe more of a mild reaction. And then other people, you can see they get really like angry, or like they start to shame, or like, like as women, you can hear that, you can hear from other women, or you can kind of hear their conditionings, right? So I guess like, yeah, I just like to invite everyone to question their thought process, question their judgment, or if that comes up, because I find that it's really just, there's a reclamation that wants to be had within ourselves. So yeah, I just felt like expressing that.
Well, it seems like the tantric path, in a way that it's a really fast path of transformation, but it's really dangerous too. So we don't really know how this is really going to manifest, this whole reclaiming of our sexual power as transformative power and
that's fair,
a spiritual path. We don't really know. We're kind of just like exploring, and it's kind of messy. And sexuality, it's just super powerful like that. So there's a lot of triggers that come up. It's like all the shadow work suddenly is like really obvious. But there's also the need to have a lot of awareness to be able to do it in a way that's truly healing, and not just kind of re-traumatizing, which we're seeing a lot.
For sure, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so yeah, that's also the Lilith kind of archetype. Like she's kind of everything. Like she's darkness and so much light and potential. And for me, that's the tantric path too. It's like just all shadow work. Like you'll find light through all this messiness, and within all of that is so much chaos and mystery. So yeah, who knows?
Yeah, gotta trust.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was relating to the inner compass, like the intuition. For me, I started doing it from the mind, studying tantra, studying practices, and now I'm really just wanting something that feels right. And it's a totally different approach, because you don't know what's going to feel right until the moment it's happening. And so I think it's similar to what's happening on the collective level right now. We don't know how things are going to unfold. We just need to go with what's happening now and be present with what's happening now and address it to the way that we're just called to express ourselves and our truth. And for me, that came through really by doing all this research, I have to say, because I wasn't really sure how to feel about it. And now I feel very much more grounded in being able to understand this whole collective dynamic with the patriarchy and the matriarchy, and the reclaiming of the female rights to their bodies, basically. And like you were saying, how that relates to Mother Earth. So yeah, I'm just sitting with it all.
Yeah, I just like, I don't even know how to respond to that right now. I'm just like, oh, there's just, it's sitting with it, really, it's not, it's like my mind doesn't even want to, play into it. It's just like, oh, just sitting with it. Like it's being felt.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big part of the journey, is just to feel. Let these
Yep.
emotions through. That's shadow work. And and with compassion, being like not judging or shaming or whatever, just allowing. Yeah, I feel like taking a breath.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Thank you so much for doing this. I couldn't think of a better way to introduce Lilith because you embody her so much in your creative art and just the artist that you embody. Like for me, the artist needs to be in touch with their shadow because that's why the creativity is. And obviously your art is all about empowering the feminine and that kind of animal nature, embodied nature, the sexual parts of us. And I've seen you grow so much over the years. I wanted to introduce you as this oracle, this priestess, this guide along other people's journey to helping them with your strong intuition and your incredible ability to discern patterns and to put words to things that are hard sometimes to put words to because we're so caught in it. I find for me, you just taught me so much about boundaries and lots of dynamics within relationships and a lot of self-love, like having self-compassion and just kind of a wizard too. You have so much understanding about astrology and the archetypes and the chakras, and you're also the wounded healer who experienced it very much in yourself, like you embodied those lessons that now you share with others because you've gone through all of it and you're still going through it like all of us.
How it goes. Yeah. Oh, thank you. I'm receiving. So nice to hear that reflection. Yeah, I'm just so honored that you invited me to be your guest here. Because like I said, the first time we met, what was it? I think I saw it was like your event. It was a woman's circle, or I don't know if it was like a new moon or full moon. I think it might have been like a full moon circle happening. And I was like, oh, this looks nice. Never even heard of like women's circles. I was just like, I just got joined into, I think it was Conscious TO on Facebook. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I met you. I went once and I was like, oh, this felt good. And just kept on coming and coming and coming. Yeah, I just feel so honored. And like, I was just thinking the other day, I was like, I pulled a tarot card or something and it said like, a teacher is coming. And I was like, wow, like a teacher is coming, like someone who's going to like be really impactful along your journey. Right. And then, like I met you and then like, just like reflecting back, oh, it brings up emotion. Yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful, right?
Yeah. I just know like we miss you here in Toronto and like you really hold that higher heart energy. Yeah. Just the divine feminine. And I've learned a lot from you. And the reason that I even started making the yonis and the vulvas was because, it was because of you, basically. Yeah. So.
Oh my goodness.
That's good.
That's good. Thank you for that reflection.
Yeah, of course.
I'm really honored. Yeah, I'm the wounded healer too. So, I'm doing all these things, but I'm receiving so much. Like I'm healing through all too. So thank you for being part of my healing and seeing me too. You make me feel better about wearing pink. I felt so pale, but now I'm like, oh, it's the higher heart.
Yeah, girl. Yes. Amazing.
Okay. Oh.
All right, just gonna smooth out my little bit of water happening here.
Right. Cancer.
Yeah. And also gonna drink some water. If anyone's dehydrated, I invite you to drink some water.
And I feel that this Lilith kind of guided meditation that I think you wanted to lead a guided meditation to connect to Lilith. I feel intuitively what's coming through is that it's an opportunity to really ground, because the shadow is also grounding. And the grounding helps us to not be so affected by all these emotions.
Yes.
And I'm really curious to connect to Lilith as a medicine, to really receive her power as a nourishing power for us to connect to our bodies and our sexuality and what we know. Nobody knows better than us. Like, in a way, no one can tell you that what you know deeply isn't true. We're talking about the intuition. No one knows better than you what's good for you and what's truth for you. So let's go back to that. I find that, if I can share something, someone asked me last night actually, what is the number one thing that you notice with women? Like, what is the number one issue or more prevalent kind of topic that needs to be addressed in women's work? Here, I feel the anger. I feel the anger coming up.
Oops. Yeah.
It's lack of confidence. It's lack of confidence. We don't believe in ourselves. How can others believe in us if we don't even trust ourselves, what we know to be true? If we don't even see what we have to offer and how valuable that is, how are we going to put ourselves out there and deliver that medicine to the world? Number one thing, and I feel like Lilith is that part of us that holds this wisdom so dear and knows how precious it is. She will not compromise because she knows too well her truth, and she embodies it without any doubt, without letting anyone telling her anything otherwise different from what she is. And this is really the power of Lilith, and that's why I think it's important to connect to her right now.
Oh yeah. Oh, just feeling your words just like echo and land. Oh, so good. Yeah. All right.
And may we all embody that Lilith. Yes, we're reclaiming Lilith tonight. Go reclaiming Lilith. We're embodying Lilith, and we're inviting her in our life to teach us, to show us the way through the light in doing all the shadow work. No more spiritual bypassing. We're looking at the gutter. We're looking at the darkest things in ourselves, outside of us, and we're addressing things with love and compassion.
Yes, absolutely. Love and compassion. Yes, very important. All right, so shall I start then, or okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I feel like that'd be a nice way to start. Just felt inspired to have a nice, release of breath, sigh. So yeah, invite. Just a couple sighs. Any sound that you want to make. And just start to notice. Actually, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes now. Okay, they're closed. Cool. At least for you, Clippy, I saw. All right, so I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And in the space, just start to notice where you are, the feeling of your feet touching the ground, the feeling of your body, the subtleties, feeling the breath fill up your lungs, the rise of your chest and of your stomach, starting to feel really at home and grounded and tuned in. And from this space, I invite you now to bring your awareness to the soles of your feet. And in your mind's eye, start to imagine roots growing. And as you see them growing, you see them really piercing through the ground beneath you, starting to really find their way through the soil, almost seeing all the layers of earth matter that exist. It's really going down into the soil, starting to really reach the core of the earth, starting to feel and hear the heartbeat of Mama Gaia. And in this place, you start to notice and feel your energy body shifting. You're starting to feel more rooted, more grounded, connected to your heart, connected to your womb. And from here, you start to feel a slight pulling, as if gravity is starting to become really heavy. And you notice yourself sinking down into the soil. And when you look around, you actually take notice and you realize that you're in a forest, surrounded by trees, and you can see the sky up above, hear birds and all life surrounding you. And as you feel yourself being pulled down by gravity and what you now know is Mama Gaia, you start to trust and surrender. There's no fear. And as you're going down, you're being pulled down into the space, you notice yourself. My apologies here. You start to notice yourself as you open your eyes. You realize the scenery has shifted and you're now in a cave. And in this cave, you can feel the coolness. You can hear the dropping of water in the distance. And you feel so held, so nourished, so safe in the space. It's pitch black, but almost like it isn't pitch black. That there's so much darkness that you actually can see. And when you look around you, you notice a body of water. Now, as you come closer to this body of water, you feel inspired to rest your body down to the ground and start to look into this water. And as you're looking into this water, you start to see your reflection. It is as if you have never seen your reflection before. It's nothing like looking in a regular mirror, the mirrors you've been looking at yourself your whole life. It is as if you are seeing yourself for the first time. But at the same time, it's the self that you've known and that you've felt and seen within your heart your whole life, but now truly reflected in this body of water. You see yourself, but you also see yourself embodied as Lilith. And you feel no fear. You feel comfort here. You feel seen. You feel validated, acknowledged. And as you stare at yourself as you look at yourself in your eyes in this body of water, and really just gazing into your soul through this portal that is water, you see or hear or feel any messages that have been wanting to reach you from the depth of your soul, from the depth of your truest knowing. You start to see and feel and hear this truth as if it was a memory. Now, you thank the water, you thank yourself for bringing you here to the space, and you back away from the water, thanking yourself and Lilith for the messages that have been received. And just like that, in an instant, you feel the gravitational pull release, and you see yourself sprout through the earth up into the soils. And it's as if you are a tree or a radiant sunflower, and you're coming back to meet the earth above. And you can really feel yourself shining. And you feel this newfound sense of empowerment. You feel and you have found this it's more like you have found that lost part of you that was never lost, that you just needed to reconnect to, and that just wanted remembering and reclaiming. And you feel yourself shining and beaming with this newfound knowledge, with this newfound empowerment. And as you look around you, you see your sisters where you haven't noticed them before. They've been along with you, beside you on this journey, taking the exact same journey as you. And within this, you feel such joy in your heart as you all look around at each other with sacred knowing. And in the space, you also realize you all are as nude as you came into this world. And you only just realize that because it's so natural and there's no shame, there's no weirdness whatsoever. And it just feels like just so natural. And howling and songs start to break free from your sisters, from your own voice. You can hear yourself, releasing your sacred expression, your voice out into the forest. And you all look around at each other. And this energy is felt and echoed throughout the collective, making waves through the collective of sacred remembrance and sacred reclamation. And that is the power of remembering and reclaiming our body, ourself, those darker aspects of ourselves we've been hiding or shaming. And just like that, from a distance, you hear the sound of a bunch of wild men, and you're not afraid. It's almost like as if they're chanting a warrior song. And looking around at each other, you feel so inspired, and all of us together, we go, and out of curiosity, we want to see what's happening. And we arrive to find our brothers united and bowing down on one knee with a rose in their hand. And we can feel as we look out at them that they've reconnected to their feminine heart. And there is reverence here in all the eyes of our brothers and men, that as they look upon our bodies, it's not that of lust or distortion, it's that of reverence, of returning back to our organic, original nature before all of conditioning and distortion and corruption. And one big breath, a sigh of relief from everyone. In sacred knowing. We are safe. We are all safe and held. We are awakened, and we remember who we are. We remember our nature. And in your own space and time, I invite you to open your eyes and come back into the space. All right.
That was so good. I felt it so much in my heart.
Yay, amazing.
I feel like I want to just highlight some moments that were powerful for me. Seeing myself in the water, I saw immediately the face of Lilith, actually, and then you invited us to see us as Lilith. And I love sinking into the earth. That felt really good too at the beginning. And yeah, seeing my sisters, seeing us naked, felt really good. But like the most powerful moment for me was to see the men. I felt, I don't know why, but I felt it in my whole body, like so much shivers. And the rose was perfect because the rose is a symbol for the heart. So it's that coming back into the heart space. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, it felt really nourishing, just like I was describing.
Yay, amazing. Yeah, I love that you mentioned just like one of the powerful moments of it being like when we like came across with the men and we heard their warrior cries. Like I was channeling some of this meditation yesterday and I was like, that really needs to be expressed and brought up in the meditation. Like it felt so powerful. Like it just really wanted to come through. Yeah.
I feel that so much. The warrior archetype is strong in the collective. It's expressing through all of us, but I really want to highlight the men who are doing the work because they're really out there doing the work. Like they're really showing up. They're really getting all this stuff. And you know, everyone on their own timing, but when I mean, I'm just amazed by how much men are showing up too. Yeah, because I felt for so long. I started doing women's circles about 7 years ago now. In October will be 7 years. So it felt like, okay, we get all this stuff as women. It's like we're just speaking finally the words for what we always knew. That was the feeling for me from the start. And I could see it in the eyes of all the sisters. It was like, yeah, okay. So what do we do? Like I know all this stuff.
Yep.
But like for men, there was like I think we're just differently conditioned, and our energy body is different. And I saw that the journey for them is quite different. Is a different kind of remembering. But now I see so much of those warriors showing up and really embodying the teachings, not just speaking them here, but embodying it. And it was so good.
Yay, amazing. Yeah, so happy to be of service.
Yeah, it feels so good to connect with them in that heart-centered way.
Yeah, I really felt like the men needed to be part of this healing and yeah, just really needed to come through the meditation, because it's like I grew up, you know, I would hear about feminism, and then you'd kind of see these like angry feminists or women. I'd be like, oh, I don't know. Do they hate men or something? Like I didn't understand it when I was in elementary school. I was like, oh, that's weird. I don't know, you know? And then like learning about it, and like, okay, there probably are still some women who like, I'm like, man, you know, like fuck the patriarchy, you know, where it's like, yeah, it's just yeah, what I wanted to say, I got a little caught up in that feeling it for a second. But yeah, it's like it's not just about like women, oh, doing this work, and yes, we need to like reclaim and all this, but it's like it's all of us, right? But it really is like involving our brothers as well. And like, yeah, it's just I can just feel it. It's just all like transforming and like alchemizing, and yay. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I want to wrap up this video because I
Yeah,
know
for
you and
sure.
I can talk forever. And I
Absolutely,
want
yes.
to end on that note of union, the divine feminine, divine masculine, because for me, this new moon is again an opportunity to really do that work. And as every new moon, it's an opportunity to set an intention. And so I want to invite people to find their intention, but also to invite them to maybe see that, seek that union with them even more in their life, and that integrity, and that following of their heart, because the heart is the symbol of the feminine and masculine coming together.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess with that was just like, I'll just like add another little note. It's not astrology, but it's numerology. So we're in 2022, and when you add up all the numbers, it comes to year like 6 in numerology, and that's all about coming into inner union. So just saying, the energies are really supportive right now, and yeah, it's all gonna naturally happen as well, because yeah.
Yeah,
Can't fight nature.
yeah, there's like a natural evolution that's unfolding. We're part of it. We get to be part of it.
Yay.
Thank you so much, Meghan.
Amazing.
And thank you, people, for watching.
Yeah, thank you all. Have a chance
Receive
to look
a lot of this priestess blessing in your life. Soak it in, share it.
Right on.
Yeah, and
amazing.
yeah, good integration of this new moon.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll catch up some other time. So much blessing.
Love you, Clarity. Ciao.
Love you, sister.
Oh yeah, bye everyone as well. That's true. It's not just me and you here.
And connect with Meghan if you want some astrology and some oracle readings.
Some yoni magic. Boom. All right. All right, awesome. And that's a wrap.